Welcome to our podcast and strap in for Movie Monday. Hi, I'm Minky Madison.
And I'm Jack Green.
Today on Movie Monday, we discuss 1031, the 2017 unrated horror comedy anthology. It's just a collection of 5 short films. Stop and watch the movie first now or strap in for major spoilers. So my favorite line of the movie overall, I think you know what it is. It's AIDS, baby. Said when that little kid wearing a wolf mask and he has a sword and he's got a voice changer. He is the greatest kid I've ever seen. Like, he made that whole movie. That was definitely my favorite line of the whole thing. Do you have a favorite line?
Yeah, so mine is the same character, basically. It's from Killing the Dance. So that was the third story in this anthology. And I also liked when he said, or his sister said, I swear if you hit me with that sword, I'll shove it up your pee hole. That was it's funny too. Because I remember being a kid, waving toy swords around and smacking people with them. So yeah, I just thought that was funny.
Yeah.
But and I like the fact that he's using a voice changer, which you end up finding out why he's. Well, no, I think you find out why he's wearing a mask, but I don't know if that had to do with him using a voice changer as well. You
Yeah,
never really
that's a
get
good
to hear
point.
his voice, I believe. His normal voice.
Mhm.
He's definitely not a normal boy. You find out eventually.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say that was one of the best
So,
lines overall out of the whole anthology.
so the first film, The Old
Mhm.
Hag, I rated it 3. What did you rate it?
Oh, I don't know. It's bad. I had rated it like a 2.
Oh, okay. My favorite line from it was, I don't have a favorite line for all of them, but this one was when Tyler says he accidentally saw one of the guests in the shower, and Kevin was like, "Is she hot?" And he was like, "No, she was like 100." That made me laugh. That was funny.
What was your pros and cons for that?
Okay, so cons. It was, I'll actually start with my pros, I think. So I think the reason I liked it is because it reminded me of Goosebumps, but done with adults instead. I could totally see that, if apart from the swearing and everything, being a Goosebumps episode. And I liked the banter between Tyler and Kevin and the random glimpses of the old woman because it was comical yet still kind of creepy, but it was very fake looking. It's not like she looked like a real old woman or anything. And I liked at the end when she put the blanket on Kathy when she was sleeping. I don't know, it made me laugh. And I like how Kathy was saying that she only gets one good night of sleep each year. And you don't realize until the end that she actually means that very night on Halloween because she baits people to come to her house every Halloween, basically, and has the old woman feast on them. And then, for whatever reason, that appeases her, and then she's able to sleep for the night. So, I don't know. I thought, it wasn't amazing, but I think it was a 3. To me, it was definitely watchable. There were some funny moments. I enjoyed it. And then, cons-wise, it was still believable enough, but you'd think that they would have thought it was weird that some lady was running a bed and breakfast and would want them to film the commercial for them right then that night, on a Halloween night especially. It just seems bizarre. Because if I was posting my jobs or something on Craigslist or finding her post on Craigslist, I wouldn't expect her to want us to do that on Halloween and that late, especially with her yawning and stuff. I don't think I would have been okay with filming it right then, but they clearly were. I know that it was their first gig or whatever, so I guess that kind of explains it, that they were kind of desperate for it, but still. I think in real life, too, if my friend was constantly freaked out, thinking he was seeing someone creepy in the hotel, especially that no one else saw, but he was consistently, dead serious, no, there's something here, I would not stay the night there. I don't understand why you would even consider staying the night there when somebody that you know what I mean? Why would you risk that? I don't understand. Plus, why would you put your friend through that? It's just messed up. That's all I have.
I couldn't disagree more. all your cons are my pros, and all my pros are your cons. Now I'm joking. So yeah, I agree with you. I pretty much agree with you on everything. I just took it in a different way. So because it was like Goosebumps type feel, I wasn't expecting
Mm.
that. And I think because it was with adults, that threw me even more. So I was kind of like, this doesn't feel right. Like something felt off the whole time, and it didn't feel good. Like because it was, I don't know, it felt like it was being insincere instead of charming because it had adults with a Goosebumps feel. And I didn't like
Right.
the part of the Goosebumps feel was the special effects weren't so good. The costumes, the old woman, and everything. So
Yeah. It was definitely over the top, like how Goosebumps kind of is. What my thinking is like if we both really liked Goosebumps and wanted to make a film similar to that,
hmm
almost like give homage to it or whatever, I could see us filming something like this, because it did. It felt like that they wanted to do a Goosebumps film, is what it seemed like the whole
maybe I'll
time. I felt like,
rewatch it, and with that in mind, maybe I'll end up liking it more because it's more really about intent when you watch something. If your expectations are
yeah,
falsely
that's
set,
true.
then you're gonna end up not liking something. Because I found it to be very odd. The house is odd, even the decorations. Like you said, all of this is fits in with like a Goosebumps type short. What made me
Yeah.
laugh was the two characters. They needed a moment discussed between them because she said about filming the commercial tonight and being paid immediately.
Hmm.
And instead of like going somewhere where they were going to be discussing it, even just a few feet away, they just turned their heads towards each other, even though they were like a meter away from her, very close. Like she could
Yes.
literally hear what they were saying. So
Yes, I hate that. So many shows do that, and it drives me nuts. Yeah, they're very clearly in earshot. They'll do that on Frasier and stuff, where the kitchen is touching the dining table basically, and people like are talking at the top of their voice in the kitchen like they're not being heard. I can't stand it. I know it's a show, and you just take it for what it is, but yeah, I agree with you that it's like needless for whatever reason to me. I think it just saves them a
yeah,
shot,
this was
maybe.
as worse as I've seen it because they were literally like almost touching her face, like with their like they said, "Give us a minute," and they're right there. They didn't make a move. The biggest move was they turned their heads towards each
Yeah,
other. That's the most distance they put.
that's funny.
Um, so yeah, that made me laugh.
Hmm.
I found that comical, so that was funny. But yeah, I agree with you. She says about filming it tonight, and they clearly are amateurs. So if people are going to take a chance on someone, they normally let them prepare since they're novice. They're going to do a better job with more
Yeah.
time. So they should have had red flags go up. When she's going to pay them immediately before even getting a product.
Yeah, it was like you said, a bunch of red flags. A lot of stuff that I would have been like, you know what, we're gonna think about this and come back, or definitely not stay the night. Like I can see maybe starting the movie or whatever, but not staying the night when your friend's already freaking out.
Yeah, and I believe this was on Halloween night too.
Mm-hmm.
The best commercials are filmed, I guess, on Halloween night. I don't know. Yeah, it's just I don't know. It's just funny. Like I said, maybe if I watched it again, I'd like it more.
Yeah, maybe you would. I know that's been the case for me sometimes. Like I'll think I hate something and then I'll give it another shot knowing what it is and it's a lot better.
But yeah, I did. I thought it
Okay.
was creepy, some of it, so that was cool. That was my pros. Yeah,
Oh,
that
that
it
was
was
creepy.
somewhat creepy. Pretty much shows my rant of cons. And I threw in a pro at the end, which is I did think it was creepy. It had a nice aesthetic feel, but because it felt off, I wasn't able to appreciate it.
Well, since we both clearly liked the third one the best, I'll start with my pros and cons for the second one. That way you can do the third one first. Sound good?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so for Trespassers, the second movie, I rated it a 2.5. What did you rate
Yeah, I
it?
think that would be a. I agree with you. When I actually put mine down, it was hard to actually decide, but it was between 2.5 and a 3. I went with the 3.
Oh, you did? Okay. So my only con really was that it was, oh, there was tons of boring dialogue for me. They had way too much in there that didn't necessarily need to be there, like the whole talking to the boyfriend for forever in the car, and like there was a lot of lead up for no reason. I felt like they didn't really add to
hmm
anything. But that's really my only con was that there was some really boring parts. But if you can get past that, my pros were I liked the story that Stephanie tells of the house from the previous families that lived there and how they showed it playing out. as she was telling it. I thought that was neat. I thought they did that pretty well, actually. I like how Stephanie was nuts because Jeff wanted to go. Like after she showed the house and told the story and everything, he's like, "I'm done. Let's leave." And she's like, "Nope, I'm taking these clippers and I'm ripping that scarecrow down to see what it is." I thought that was funny because it's just who would do that? I don't know. I just thought it was bizarre, but so she's cutting the thing down, and then I like that the scarecrow is actually revealed to be a human, and then it's actually revealed to be a ghoul, and then it bites her in the neck, and then Jeff bails. And I thought he just left her, which was hilarious. But then you find out that he actually was getting an axe and returns, and then he hits the ghoul in the back, which kills it. And then it's a plot twist because he ends up killing Stephanie because she's infected and burns a body and everything. Then you think it's done, and then there's a second plot twist where some old woman who smokes a pack a day appears and says, "This land is our land," and turns him into the next scarecrow somehow. I'm not even clear how she did that really. She like put a potato sack on his head and tied him to the post and just declared him the next scarecrow. I don't know, it made me laugh. So yeah, if you can get past the boring parts, I do think it was funny and watchable.
Wow. Well, this is the hallmark in cinema, I think. This will be talked about for decades.
I like your reaction to my pros and cons are wow.
Well, there's things I agree with. I would say most things I agree with. This is a better story than the first one, in my opinion, than the Old Hag. Trespassers had a better story. It had me guessing. You know, because based on the dialogue, even though it was kind of boring dialogue, it seemed like she may have had bad intentions for him on the way out there. I just got this creepy vibe off her, like maybe she was gonna do something to him, and then I got creepy vibes off him. It had me guessing on what direction this story was gonna go in, because I think maybe she's taking him out somewhere to kill him. She was saying weird things like, "No one ever does this."
That's funny because I didn't get that impression at all that she was going to harm him. I just thought she was wanting to do something interesting. So that's, I guess I could see how you would get that though, because they probably did that on purpose. But I didn't,
maybe I
for whatever reason, it
I
didn't
don't
cross
know,
my mind.
the way she came across in the car, the way she was looking at him, and the way she was talking, and the words she was using, like, was a little extreme, a little weird. And he did that to her too, as well.
Yeah, like I can definitely see what you're getting at. And for whatever reason, I just didn't. I don't know. Maybe it was because I was too bored by the dialogue that I wasn't paying attention as much or something. I don't know.
And I just got the sensation that they were new actors because they didn't come across as really convincing. Maybe that was a problem with the dialogue, especially in the beginning. So yeah, that's what I liked about it was, well, not that, but I liked the story. I didn't like the ending because, like you said, so much was going on, and there was too many twists at the end, where it started to lose any, like, believability at all, because suddenly he's becoming a scarecrow. I mean, like, and just too much was going on, and too many things were changing. It needs more detail, I think. It needed reasons why the things were happening.
I actually liked all that because I think it was, though, because I was so bored and then stuff was actually happening. I'm like, oh, yes, yes. And then I was like, another plot twist, yes. You know what I mean? Like, because if you look at the ghoul, when the ghoul is revealed, it looks like a rubber Halloween mask. They did not try to make that look creepy at all, I feel like.
It had the blue eyes. It had the blue eyes.
Huh?
He had the blue eyes when they put him up on that cross.
Yeah, they had like lights for eyes or whatever. But if you actually look at the mask, because initially his eyes don't glow yet, and it's just a Halloween looking mask thing. To me, it was like more a comedy. So I accepted the plot twists and all the weirdness at the end and switching all around and all that, because to me it felt like it kind of fit what was going on. So I don't know. It's just a difference of
can give you
opinion, really.
Clarity, though. I think what I think actually happened.
Okay.
He talks about Scarecrow actually not being a scarecrow and actually being on a cross. So this led me to believe that we're not dealing with a ghoul but a vampire, especially when it bites her and he says she can't live now because she's been infected, and her eyes were red when she looked up at him. So we're dealing with a vampire here, I believe. And that's why he had to end up beheading her, because that's one of the main ways you kill a vampire. It's cut the head off. TV show Supernatural, I think they might have talked about that being one way to kill a vampire. But yeah, so I don't think it was a ghoul, but this is just my impression.
Yeah, no, you're probably right, but it still looked like a ghoul. Like, that was the most ghoulish looking vampire I've ever seen.
Yeah, it didn't scream vampire.
Yeah,
so.
No, I would not have known. But what you're saying makes a lot of sense. So it probably was a vampire. It just they should have made it look like one, in my opinion. Didn't turn a ghoul into a vampire
Yeah,
for some
because
reason. But
so I guess that's what happened with the family in her story that she told. Someone got bit by a vampire.
mhm.
The whole family did. He ended up having to kill his family, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah, I guess that didn't come across very well.
it's your favorite time. This is what you've been waiting for.
Pardon?
Oh my god, it's so
Oh, are we
funny.
moving on to the third one now? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I figured that's what you meant, but I wasn't sure. But yeah, so anyway, the second one's a good, entertaining thing.
Oh
Not
my god.
completely logical, but it's more fun than the first. And then,
I'm sorry, I can't stop laughing. Pardon.
pardon.
Oh my god. Okay. Oh, that was funny. Well, because you've been trying to give me spoilers all week
Oh
for what you thought about it.
yeah.
You'd be excited. I didn't tell you what was happening. I just kind of assumed you would know, and then you said that and made me laugh. But
So
anyways,
yeah,
sorry,
that
continue.
was the second one was decent, and now we go into the third, which is killing the dance. Which I don't know, that one that was fun. It had the kid. It had good dialogue too.
Yes. What did you
Uh,
rate it?
well, I gave that like a 3.5.
What?
Well, wait, are we
Are you
talking about out
serious?
of? We do out of 5. That's right. So by that
Yeah,
case, it should have been a 4.5 that I gave it.
that's hilarious. I gave it a 5. I thought that was amazing. That was my
Well, I
favorite
would
one, hands down. I would watch it again. But
give it
anyway,
a
continue.
5, I
Sorry.
guess. I can find criticism with it, but I want it to be fair and more bipartisan
Yeah.
on that. I did really enjoy that. Just all the characters. It had a lot of characters, actually. At least to me, it felt like a lot of characters. So we have funny
Yeah.
dialogue, a unique, weird story, basically, with this boy who apparently is some type of ghoul or something. I'm not sure what he was. The special effects weren't great, but they were funny, so it kind of added to the lighthearted tone. I'm sure you recall when they were skating and the killer comes and cuts this one girl up with like a razor. You could see that they were cutting up a piece of like fabric. It didn't even look like skin. I don't know. It just to me like I blatantly didn't look like skin. It looked like fabric Play-Doh or something.
Yeah.
But I don't
I
know.
get
It
what
didn't bother me though because it was funny.
mm-hmm. So these are are these your cons or your
That's
pros?
not a good sign when you get. Is this something you love or hate?
No,
These are my
I just am
praise. What I
not
was saying,
sure.
it's funny dialogue, unique story, funny special effects. My only cons were actually wanting more of what they were doing. I wanted it to be longer and want to be them to do more funny dialogue, and so I don't really have any
Yeah.
cons with it. The one thing that was funny is Clint seemed really old for her. If I swear he looked like he was 40 or something. Like, and she looks like she's like this 19-year-old girl. Like,
That's hilarious. He didn't come across as 40 to me, but I do see what you're saying. They definitely had a huge gap in
yeah, I
age,
don't
it
know what it
seemed. I
was.
agree.
It must maybe the mustache or the way his hair was, but he did not seem like a young high schooler, which is what he should have been. And he was very vulgar too, and so it was really came across even worse. The fact that he looks old and he's being like, "Oh, we're
Mm-hmm.
having sex," like, and I don't know, like he said a lot of weird stuff, and then he ends up being heroic at the end. He dies, but he's not really a help, but he tries, which is it's
He didn't
uncharacteristic. You
tries,
think he
yeah.
would just bolt, which is what I think he would do. Something like that in reality would do. And right, it turns out to be the mom at the end is the
Yeah, that's
killer in a weird mustache costume, like
mm-hmm.
or Mario. Or,
But yeah, that was funny. I liked that costume a lot.
yeah, I don't know the name of the person who ran the ice rink or the skate rink or whatever it was. Remember, she had an alien coming out of her chest.
Yeah, that was one thing about this. I really
Yeah,
liked
I
the
did too. And
costumes.
she had some funny lines. I can't remember what she said. She said something about, yeah, well, the other girl was saying, I'm here to see Clint to get something back that he has from me. And she's like, I bet he has something from you. And I guess she meant a baby. I don't know, but it was just funny the way she said it.
Yeah, I liked her
Yeah,
too. And it's funny because she didn't have a very big part in it, but she was, like you said, she was funny and she did enough with her character, I think,
yeah, I
to
was
make her
just about to
stand
say
out,
that she
kind
had
of.
a memorable character despite only having a few lines. Really, they were all memorable. Maybe the
Mhm.
mom, not so much,
Yeah.
oddly. Yeah, she's the killer. I remember everyone else.
Until the end, she's really only in the one scene
Yeah,
where she's
staring
yelling
out
at
the
her
window
daughter.
or something. So,
And then, did you go over your cons, or you
My
said you didn't
cons were
really
just
have any?
wanting more of what they did and maybe expanding the story a little bit. Because they had a good recipe, it just wasn't broad enough or long enough. What do you think?
I don't know. I kind of like it the length that it was, honestly. I think it was a nice, it was pretty solid for what it was. I don't know that I would have liked it more said if they took it longer. Maybe I would have, because Mike made the whole thing. Maybe actually a spin-off on just the Mikey kid would be amazing. So actually, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's make it
Well,
longer. Double the length. But Mikey has to be the main
yeah, I
guy,
don't think they
because he
should
was funny.
necessarily make it longer just to do that. I think the length was good. If they still had good material left over, then I hope that they would put that in. So that's really all I'm saying. Not that it needs to be longer, but
You
yeah,
enjoyed it so much,
exactly.
you wish it didn't end, type thing. Yeah, that makes sense. I'll go into mine. So, yeah, as I mentioned, the AIDS baby line was funny, but I'll give more context to it. So basically, the mom is talking to the daughter, and the daughter's talking about how she likes attention, and she was kind of wearing, I wouldn't say it was slutty outfit, but it was, I don't know, what would you say her outfit was? Because
Well,
just sexy, I guess.
it's
It
not
wasn't
really
even that
telling me the
bad.
outfit, but rather her age and that she's wearing it.
Oh, okay. I don't know, but to me, it wasn't a big deal. Like even age-wise, like I don't, I could understand if she was wearing like a fishnet or something, but you know what I mean? I don't know. I didn't get the impression that the outfit was really that bad, even for her age. So it was funny to me that she was losing it. But the mom's freaking out, and she's like, "Well, you're gonna get plenty of attention when you have that AIDS baby with that Clint scumbag, and you end up on Dr. Phil." And then Mikey, with his glorious voice changer, chimes in with the AIDS baby, and it's hilarious. And then later on, he approaches the counter. Remember
Hmm.
when his sister is behind it at the roller rink? And he's like, water. And then out of nowhere, he's like, AIDS baby again. That killed me. That was hilarious. Like, I'm telling you, without that kid in it, it still would have been okay, but he makes that movie. I don't know. That was hilarious. Anyways, so I'll go into my pros. Obviously, my number one pro is the guy I keep talking about, the sword wielding kid, Mikey, wearing a wolf mask with a voice changer. And the costumes were really good, like I mentioned. And remember the four
Uh-huh.
identical ghouls that were skating? That made me laugh too, just because they were like, I don't know. I think it
Uh-huh.
really was a comedy more than anything. I thought that was really funny. And then again, the hilarious giant mustached cowboy costume. That was funny the whole time. He just like random scenes. He was just in there like, and it's funny because I want to say they were dancing, but they really weren't. They were roller skating, but it kind of gave the feel of dancing. So it was just funny to see this giant mustache cowboy costume every once in a while, and made me laugh every time almost. And then I love that it actually turned out to be the killer in the end. Just fit really well. And I like the plot twist, as you were saying, like that it's the mom all the time, because
Yeah.
I did not see that coming at all. And then it was almost like a double plot twist, actually, like the other one, because then you also find out that Mikey is a ghoul or whatever. He is supposed to be an alien. I don't even know. But he has telepathic powers and then just destroys the mom's head. So I don't know. That was pretty great. Like, I think all in all, it was really good. My only con, really, and you don't seem to agree with it, was that like three-fourths into the movie, it was amazing to me and perfect, and I gave it a 5 right away. But then it hit this small, it's not a very long part, but it hit this small slump in my opinion where it got a little boring. They're just kind of skating around for a while and like the music's going and stuff, and nothing happens. So I don't know, I got a little bored there, and there wasn't enough of the wolf kid
Well,
in
I
that
do agree
point,
with
I
that.
guess. Oh, you do? Okay, yeah. I don't, it wasn't very long, maybe a few minutes, but nothing was really happening. I felt like they could have cut that out or had the wolf kid come back and do something funny. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. It just felt like
Yeah, it was
filler
like a
for no
dance,
reason.
oh, dance skate sequence was necessary. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't feel like it added anything. And then it
Hmm.
picks back up and it finishes really good. So I can't really knock it too much for it, but I do wish that they had edited that better, I guess. Just a note, I started having flashbacks because do you remember that bigger dude that was skating? He was kind of off to himself, and I don't even know that he was wearing costume. Maybe he was, but I was having flashbacks because when I had a roller rink party when I was like 8 or something, there was a guy that looked kind of like that who was skating backwards, and everyone else is skating forwards like a normal, and it's all these kids because it's my party and other kids that are there and everything. Anyway, he's skating backwards and he lands on me. He basically skates right into the back of me, falls on top of me. So he's
Oh my
crushing me and
God.
everything. My family saw it happen and they all come over and like, yeah, and he like hurt my leg and everything. And he was nice in the sense like he was like, "Are you okay? I'm so sorry," and blah blah. But it's like really like you could have avoided this if you weren't being such a moron skating backwards with a bunch of kids. Like, I understand if there's all these adults there, maybe we should pay attention better, but you're skating amongst children and you're going backwards and not paying
Wow.
attention at all. Like, he wasn't even looking. And I didn't too badly hurt,
Yeah,
but
I
my
guess they
leg was sore
captured
for a
the
while.
type of
What'd you say?
personalities you would encounter at an ice rink.
Yeah, that's
Um,
funny.
the owner of the ice rink, she said something that was funny. Remember, she said it's closing time. You're not my friend. Get out or something. I don't know. It's just funny.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, overall it was a good
All right.
anthology with some hits and misses, and but overall it leaves you with a good feeling.
Mm-hmm. We still have two more movies.
Yeah, for some reason.
Did you
Those
forget?
last,
I'm like, why is he? I'm like, why is he shutting it down? You're like, we've been recording for too
I guess I
long.
blacked out the last
That's
two.
funny.
Because nothing really. Well, no, the second to last I do remember that was interesting, but the last one.
Well, I feel you on that because I did not like the last two. I'll say that. So, can I jump into the fourth one?
Yeah.
Okay. So, the fourth one is called Halloween Blizzard of 91. And it took a long time to find that title because it wasn't anywhere except for in the credits for whatever reason. But I rated it one and a
Yeah.
half. What did you rate it?
1.
Okay. My favorite quote was the mom's like, play that game your dad got you. And then the kid's like, it's called Volumes of Blood. It's gruesome fun. Thanks, Dad. I thought that was funny. And then the con was it was excruciatingly boring. I think the idea wasn't necessarily too bad, but I'm not a fan of how they actually carried it out. I think left a lot to be desired. The pros, I do like the idea of a mystery box being left on their doorstep on Halloween night that has to do with Christmas, and it has a single ornament in there with like a note. That was kind of interesting. And then the real Santa in the bedroom with the kid made me laugh. That was really funny, just because I didn't expect that at all. But that's really all I have to say about it. So, do you have
Yeah, I
pros
felt the
and
same
cons?
exact
Because I
way.
really
There's
didn't
not a
like
lot
it.
to say about it because there really wasn't much to it. At least that was good, except the basic
Yeah.
premise was, like you said, interesting. And the husband was a jerk
Mm-hmm.
because he ended up hitting on her sister.
Yeah, that was freaking weird. And she was even like, "What the
He
hell?"
didn't even
and like
allude to it.
ran
Like
off
he
from her.
literally
That was
tried. Like
bizarre.
he tried to grab her. I don't know, like
Yeah.
Halloween night. Like I don't know. It's just the whole thing seemed bizarre because she didn't seem like she knew what he was doing. And so I guess he wasn't drunk from what I could see. So there's just no reason why he would launch his cheating attack at this time.
Yeah, and especially because he didn't even know where his wife was at the moment. Like she could have been right there. And the only thing that seemed to trigger it was that the lady was in her underwear, which is even weird anyway. Like, why would she go out in her underwear for one? With him there and everything, it just doesn't really make sense. But even if she did, like, why would he react that way to it? I
Yeah,
don't know. It was just
so
weird. Like, I totally
that
agree with
didn't
that.
help the film at all. It didn't help. So it kind of took you off track, like because it was just jarring and
Yeah.
didn't cast him in a very good light. But yeah, the I do agree with the funny line you had though in the very beginning. That was funny. But other than that, it was
Yeah.
snore fest.
Yes, I agree. Okay, so we'll jump to the fifth film, the Sam Haynes
Yeah.
Slasher. I
Yeah.
rated that 1. Yeah, because it was also really boring and it
Yeah.
also felt really disjointed, which makes it even worse because it's boring and disjointed. So you're the whole time you're just like, what the is happening and do I care? No, I do not. So I don't know. And then it's basically just a dude going around killing people on Halloween, which is nothing unique at all. That's like every
Yeah.
horror movie ever for Halloween. The only thing that was maybe unique was when he ties that woman up by her own organs. And the acting wasn't too bad. And like that in transformation of the woman where she turns into that creature or whatever was okay. But for the most part, it was just boring and predictable. And I was just like,
Yeah,
what
I
the
felt
hell?
the
I don't
same
know.
exact
I didn't
way.
like it.
And the killer wasn't interesting. If you're gonna be cliche, at least make an interesting character. You could at least do that much.
Yeah. Plus, after watching that third film that we loved so much, the dancing one or whatever, and then to watch these, I think they should have put the one that we loved at the end, and then maybe it wouldn't have
Yeah, it
been,
just
we wouldn't have hated these two so
went really
much.
downhill, and it kind of ruined the tone of the. Yeah, you were on a high basically. It had a climax, and then it dropped off like a sheer face of a cliff. So
Yeah, maybe if they had ordered these more where Maybe start with these two, honestly. Then you kind of into this, I don't know, and then you get more into the other ones because the other ones, the first three seemed more
The
solid.
shame is people might not actually watch. They might give up. So what they really needed was a better last episode. Just one to ease you down from the high of the third,
Yeah,
and drop you off nice and smooth. But they didn't do that. So
yeah, sad.
but yeah, it was kind of like watching a fireworks show, and it gets really great in the middle, and then all of a sudden it's just like farts with like sparks.
Although it might be a little funny.
Yeah. Now, 1031. We watched 1031, the horror anthology. It was our second horror anthology that we reviewed, and it was much better experience. It had its highs and its lows in terms of the quality of each episode, and it did not finish well with the last two. But I think the third episode at the iceberg really made it a worthwhile watching experience.
Yes.
Give it a shot just for that. You might end up liking more than we did about it. That's the